It's taboo to tattletale on your administration.
You were under investigation for putting your hand on someone's throat. I just want to know what happened.
If it was such a minor use of force, why so much effort to cover it up?
Tonight, a follow-up to a Fox 13 investigation we first told you about last December. Heber City has agreed to pay thousands of dollars to two former sergeants who accused the department of retaliating against them for voicing concerns about the chief.
Fox 13 investigative reporter Adam Herbett spent months fighting for access to the city's spending records. He joins us in studio with the update.
Well, the city settled any potential lawsuit by giving the officers $7,800. Neither side admitted wrongdoing, and the city says neither side is allowed to speak with the media.
Come on. There you go.
It all started more than a year ago, March 31st, when Heber City Police Chief Dave Booth took a handcuffed suspect and struggled to get him in the car. Officers say after reviewing department policy, they felt they had no choice but to report it.
We have an obligation to police ourselves. Nobody's above the law, and nobody's allowed to do whatever they want. I don't care if you're the chief of police. You can't do that to somebody that's handcuffed in the back of a police car. You can't do that.
You were under investigation for putting your hand on someone's throat. I just want to know what happened.
Which never happened.
And we have the video, sir. At first, the city tried and failed to prevent the public from seeing any of the evidence. That decision drew criticism from leaders across the Utah law enforcement community.
Absolutely, it is public information and should have been released. That is the creation of the thin blue line.
Within weeks of our first story, the city agreed to pay $7,800 to two officers to settle any potential lawsuits against them. The officers say the city retaliated against them, using threats and intimidation to send a message that nobody should ever report the chief. Mayor, is it true that you told a room full of officers that, quote, karma is a bitch?
I would like the mayor to kind of discuss it so that I'm not necessarily just the messenger boy.
Our reporting also revealed, as part of the internal affairs investigation, Chief Booth was never interviewed before being cleared of all wrongdoing. Instead, Wasatch County Sheriff Jared Rigby recorded himself threatening officers' advancement within the Heber City Police Department for reporting the chief.
And okay, that's your decision. You just won't get any trusted positions having to do with DT and use of force and sergeant and those kinds of things because you're not willing to learn and be open-minded to it.
The city tried and failed to keep that video private. For months, the city also fought to hide the settlement money they gave to the whistleblower officers. Fox 13 News appealed that decision to the State Records Committee.
Fox News has run a complete story. There's nothing else in our estimation out there.
There are allegations of retaliation, collusion, corruption here, and then it all resulted again in a taxpayer-funded settlement. The public has a right to understand how public money is being spent.
The State Records Committee agreed that the law says the settlement must be made public.
When is Heber City going to catch up?
For the past 6 months, we've also been fighting for access to the chief's emails, which will show he was still working while on administrative leave. The Records Committee agreed. Those emails belong to you, the public, and now the city says it will send us copies as soon as possible. Reporting in studio tonight, Adam Herbett, Fox 13 News, Utah.
If you have a story you would like Fox 13 Investigates team to look into, send an email to iteam@fox13now.com or call the tip line at 801-536-1314.